Greetings everyone, and Grade here with another... My mind's drawing blank. Advanced Wars, Days and Tiny Wars replays. On our right side is the dark gray Mira. We've got EvilAnge. Spawn top left side is the purple, the Fanatic. We got the FanaticFan. Both of these CEOs are custom. While the Fanatic is a character from Days Ruin, he is of course a custom CEO in Tiny Wars since he was supposed to be a no CEO like Davis. Standard boarding cost is 50%, blah. Radius of 3, 30, 60, 60. All units in the CO zone gets plus 10, plus 20. All units in the CO zone that has less, it was not maximum HP, gets plus 10, plus 10. For a superpower, all units get, of course, the plus 10, plus 20. Units that have left, not maximum HP, get additional plus 10, plus 10. All of the units are, all of his own units are afflicted with Plague for 3 turns, doing 3 damage to his own units. All units inflicted with Plague onto his enemy units deals 2 damage. And can be lethal at the end of the turn, prevents them from executing join command. So he takes more damage than his opponent, which I don't really like that aspect. When it comes to Mira, she offers no boarding cost, 6 radius, 0 expansion, 45 energy, and has no CO zone, just a CO power to just do 1 global damage to the which is the Fanatic, which could be good, could be bad, I have no idea. And this character has fans? I guess so. He was also a little bit reworked, because beforehand his superpower was the less health, the more fire percentage output. This map is a 3-base map, 1 airport. Both players do start off a handful of extra properties, thus making you get bike deployment immediately. We do have just more bikes for both players, nothing too crazy. And infantry bike there. That's what she could afford to get all 3 bases going. The Fanatic has 6,000, so go for infantry and bike as well. Does that. Does go for a tank and sells enough for 1 infantry unit. Does seal the tank. And right now Mira has not deployed a CO unit, nor even a tank, so the Fanatic's going to have some good pressure that can start being applied. Bike, and tank. Artillery, flare, and infantry. Flare is interesting, actually. I wouldn't say if you go and fight against Penny, but flare... Well, I know the flare is a decent combat unit against anti-infantry, but guess didn't want to go for a recon. Before I started the stream, I was playing some Stellaris, and it reminds me of the Warm and Waiting, for those who are familiar with Stellaris. Our rocket, bike, and does commits another base skip. The Fanatic has a lot of targets in front of him. A very target-rich environment. course, 2 tanks is pushing over towards him. 3rd tank there. He has artillery advancing, but he needs more tanks down south. Maybe battlecopters as well. In fact, Mira is not deployed out any heat here. Though this is not exactly a fog of war, so you can see if battlecopter gets deployed. Sacks the unit there. Tank battlecopter and commits double base skip. Got some good shots. Get a good hit there on the artillery. The Fanatic's now at 30 energy. Tank in infantry. Good shot there on the tank. Put some machine gun round into it. Bike gets a shot. Picks up that bike there, up to 44 energy. Artillery, infantry, and battlecopter, and commits another base skip. Pops the superpower. I forgot that she only needs 45 energy. So got 1 damage global. Oh, the damage is going to really stack up against Fanatic. This may not go too well, honestly. You can deploy out his superpower next turn. He has a lot of targets in front of him. Because he's going to take 3 damage versus taking 2 damage globally. You can now deploy the superpower. Does not deploy the superpower. Recon, tank, and bike. Tank, and infantry. No CO power. And no CO power whatsoever. He may not be deployed just yet. Tank, and so forth. Has some funds. Drops that captured. Tank, artillery, and infantry. Rocket does take a shot there. Receive a shot. Anti-air battlecopter and pair of infantry. Does hit the infantry. Gets some good shots and tank up north. It does go for anti-air. This battlecopter is in the region, of course. We would like to get a shot off. After all, the anti-air can only reach that. Can reach on the other side of these tanks, so it does have good coverage at the moment. Tank anti-air commits another base skip. Tank double bike. Good shot to the bike, knocking it out. It's the CO unit. It looks like that CO unit will be going on down. Blair does take a shot against the anti-air. Battlecopter does strike battlecopter, tank, and infantry. That is a good number of tanks down here. We do have, of course, the artillery in range, or in range of a bike. Anti-air, bike, and tank. Another tank. Another tank and bike. Battlecopter, tank, and infantry. Fanatic could start catching some properties up north. Both players have 17 properties at the moment. Getting some great hits with those artillery. Joins the command tank together. The number joins there. It's up to 24,000. Could go for bomber this turn. Battlecopter, tank. Another tank and infantry. Does go for rocket. Got just big line of tanks from both sides. Fanatic looks like just not eyeing the CO power, which is quite understandable. I don't think the CO power is good. It seems a bit more detrimental because you take 3 damage on your side. We have a medium tank double bike. The Fanatic's largely pulling back from the southern flank. Another tank. Just a bit of a stalemate so far this game. Bike, tank, and does get the 4 health battlecopter back home to get some repairs going. And looks like the Fanatics just going for more medium tanks. Another bike and infantry. It looks like Mira is starting to front shift, not towards up north, but into the center. Medium tank infantry. And this battlecopter is actually getting a bit low on fuel. It's currently at 36 fuel, or 38 fuel, 30 fuel. A lot of battlecopters sort of just floating about, ruffling about, if you will. Calder right now is, or not Calder, the Fanatic's up to 4 battlecopters. Mira, in comparison, does have 3. One of them is quite damaged. Now the artillery and pair of infantry. This infantry up north does scout that one entirely. Bike, and battle or tank does get a shot on the infantry unit up north. Of course, the tanks nearby should be able to easily be dealt with. Mira has not redeployed a Haseo unit, has she? To go for this tank or one of the bikes down south. War tank and pair of infantry. Another medium tank and infantry. Overall, there's nothing really much to say. Both players just, it's a stalemate right now. We do have another anti-air. Infantry and anti-air. Does see another unit, or she does. This time just an infantry unit there. Remember, 0 boarding costs, and it doesn't really matter what gets loaded on up. At least deploying out the CO zone with that infantry unit there doesn't really consume too big of an important turn. Battlecopter and triple base skip has 5,800 funds remaining. Battlecopter bike and infantry. And we may actually see the conflict. There's enough targets in front of her to get the CO power going, which could result in the Fanatic deploying out his CO power, giving him the extra firepower globally, and then get inflicted by the damage. At right now 40 energy, does move the CO unit there. Couldn't get squeezed enough power charge. It's a lot of targets over in front of her, that's for sure. The Fanatic may pop a CO power this turn, I have no idea. Right now, even for day-to-day fun, she's about a turn behind. Currently 188 versus 209. Pops the CO power, there's the plague effect. Hits the anti-air, hits the tank. Hits the bike there. Hits the infantry unit there. Hits the anti-air. It's that same bike there. Good kills there. The front line smashed on in, so Mira's gonna have a good turn next turn. She will be able to pop her superpower. But however, the Fanatic took very little damage this turn, but the end of the turn, everything's going to get procced. This turn now, he will end his turn with approximately 222. Ends down to 200. Needs to pop the superpower. Yeah, should have popped that first. Gave 1 global damage to everything. Can't take infantry. Does sack something. Get some good shots. He even took some shots against the battle copter of infantry units. Something died there due to a lack of health. Remember as well, the 1 damage global is lethal. Does get some good shots in the medium tanks. And with everything wounded, they will get the +10/+10 if they're inside the CO zone. Great attacks there. Right now, Mira's down to 56,000 versus 146, so she's severely behind. Mira starts at 45, not a lot. Yep, I think the Fanatic has game in the bags at least. In this case, he doesn't care about the global damage. But to be fair, he gets hurt by global damage himself, and it's going to be affected by 1 more tick of global damage. But Mira, however, will not. And not killing off that 1 health CO unit will result in her not being loaded with CO next turn. But it's possible for her to deploy another superpower. She started turn with 32,000. This damage going has a 17 energy. Does join with the CO unit. Got mech, infantry, and tank. Getting some good hits over there. Does take a CO unit now. The game's pretty much over at this point. Stacks 1 health unit there. Does take out the 8th here. Get some good picks there. Got to capture the HQ, so next turn it will be captured. And now it's the Fanatic's or Mira's turn, but there's nothing much she can do. And there's HQ capture, ending the game. This is Grade saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay.